Good morning. Welcome to another reading vlog. I'm still in my pajamas, but that's life, right? What am I doing this week? I thought I'd do this quick update before I totally forget to update you today. This afternoon I'm going to meet up with my aunt and uncle before they fly home, so I am driving into Melbourne over dinner, so I probably won't get a whole heap of time to read. I'm currently just into 3 books. I'm reading Ninth House, which is what I'm currently working on, and I'm going to take it with me to work. Work is still potentially pretty down, by the way, but we'll see when I get there. House of Salt and Sorrows is also in the works, and I'm about 113 pages through that. And the other one is The Bone Houses. I'm about 50 pages into that. So what I'm currently reading. Oh, I am also currently reading His Hideous Heart. And I'm getting closer to the end of that. And then also Neverworld Wake will be my audiobook for driving to and from Melbourne tonight. So that'll also get read. Or a large chunk of it at any rate. Like half of it. I've just finished my breakfast. I'm gonna go get ready and then I'm gonna go to work. I just got home from work. I'm gonna head into the city in like an hour to meet up with my aunt and uncle. But I did receive a book in the mail, and that is the Kingdom of Souls, which is book 1 in the last Witch Doctor series. This is the UK cover. I do like it slightly better than the US cover, though neither are my absolute fave. It's also not super floppy, but whatever. We break spines in this household. We don't care. Anyway, I'm gonna probably need a big old glass of water and then I'll probably read a bit of Ninth House before we go. I'll probably update you just before I go. So I did read nothing. I ended up prepping a TBR jar, which I'll probably show you when I finished the other one. It's part of a pair. And I've only done one. So when I've done the other one, I'll probably show you that. And I'm gonna head into the city now. I might go to the bookstore when I get there, depending on if I get stuck in traffic or not. So I should have between half an hour and an hour to make my way from part A of the city to part B. We could go via the bookstore, but I'm not going to take my camera with me, so alas, I'll let you know if I buy anything when I get back. Have a good evening while I'm doing that, and you'll see me in 3.25 seconds. I think I forgot to update yesterday. Entirely last night. It's now Tuesday morning. Last night I went out for dinner with my aunt and uncle in the city, so it was 2 hours of commuting, driving to get there. So I read nothing. I read a handful of pages of Ninth House, but not enough to even be a section in my thing. But I did finish the section that I was working on of Ninth House this morning. So I'm now 130 pages in. We've had probably the famous, potentially triggering for some people, a lot of people maybe, I don't know, scene. Yeah, it's hard hitting. You would definitely say this is heavily trauma based. It's a very trauma informed narrative, you could say. But I'm really enjoying it. I love the prose and the mystery. I wrote in my friends some comp titles of what I would say have a similar tone, writing style, that kind of thing, kind of feel similar, especially knowing this is a series, not just a standalone. It gives me similar feels to The Rook by Daniel O'Malley. That same kind of, we don't overly explain the magic system, but it's got cool quirks that are described. Love that. And Unkindness of Magicians has similar vibes, and Magic for Liars has similar vibes. I would say. They're my comp titles at the moment. All books of which were like 5 stars or 4.75 stars, like amazing books. So I'm really enjoying it. I'm currently gotta go shower and go to work, but I'm gonna pack the bone houses for work. Don't know if I'll actually get any read there, but we'll see. I've got some stuff I've got to do at work today. Don't know if I'll come home early. Well, I'm there late at this rate because it's now like 9 o'clock, so I'll probably get there around 10. And then I'll go to yoga this afternoon maybe, and then I have work tonight. So that's the plan. Why have I been doing this lately? Who knows? I'm drinking 7-Up. I have cats on my bed. I've just been, my laptop is whirring away frantically because I'm exporting my vlog. So that's happening. It's like an hour long, last week's vlog. And I kept being like, I feel like I've taken no footage. And then we get to editing time and it's now long. Anyway, I'm home from work, if you couldn't tell. I did things I had to do and then I came home. I'm gonna read for the next couple of hours. Currently 1:30. Yoga is at 4:30. We can read till then. Have a good time. It's gonna be great. So I just got to the end of a section of the bone houses. I'm now on page 97. And I'm shooketh. I'm not in focus, but I'm shooketh. Like, what the shit? What the shit just happened? So this is essentially, have I really told you what this is about? I'm not sure. But we follow Rin and Alice. And Rin is a grave digger. Her father was a grave digger and he went into the forest to search out a mine, like a famous mine from the area. And she kind of took over the business because he never returned. And there's these bodies of like people, when the dead like don't stay dead, they rise again and become like zombies, called bone houses. And we've met a few bone houses as she's like dispatched them and got rid of them. She burns the remains when they become a bone house, because they'll keep trying to rise at night. And you were like, cool, all right, this shit defeatable, that's fine. One just came for the town and we followed a random person in the town for a very short chapter, and he just got like decapitated by a bone house. I was not emotionally prepared for so much violence in a short second. But that's done for today. Or that section's now done. I'm going to switch back across to House of Salt and Sorrows and read section 3 of that. And then we'll try and read a section of 9th House and another section of Bone Houses today. Is my goal. We'll see what actually ends up happening. Doing it again, oh my gosh. So I went to yoga, had some Chinese food for dinner, which was delicious, and I just finished the next section of, wait, when did I last update you? Had I finished a section of House of Salt and Sorrows when I last updated you? Not sure, enjoying that. I just finished a section of 9th House, loving this. This is like everything I want. It's a book for me. Great. Okay, thanks. Love it. I'm on page 199. And I think there's like just over 450. So I'm like just under halfway. It's just a masterpiece. I'm so glad I pushed myself to read it right when it came out, because I'm having the time of my life. Anyway, my cat is currently sitting on the next book I'm going to read, which I'm going to go back to the Brown Houses, read a section of that, and then take House of Salt and Sorrows and His Hideous Heart to work with me tonight, and kind of just trade off on that front, I think. But I'm going to read the Brown Houses in the next like 40 minutes before I have to go to work. I will change into pajamas and then go to work. I probably will leave my camera at home, so I'll update you tomorrow. So, I did read a section of the Brown Houses last night. It's now, what, Wednesday morning? Wednesday morning. And I also read the story by Dahlia Adler in His Hideous Heart. It was called Lygia? Surely that's not how you pronounce it. Not 100% sure though. I need to look it up. It's Portuguese. Which is based on the story Lygia. Not my favorite of the modern versions, but I'm like 2 modern stories away from the end now. So like really like 4 stories if you include the Poe originals, and they're 4 pretty big ones. Well, technically 5. I'm working on like the Poe original of Lygia. My overall opinion on this book, because I'm nearing the end, I guess. I really enjoy almost all of the modern versions. I think they're really cleverly done. They are really accessible. They're creepy. They often hit all the right notes. I think the reason I didn't like Dahlia Adler's one that much was not the writing or the thing. It was the actual story of Lygia is not my fave. It's like the original story is very male gazy, and so in her remake it was like a female romance, but it's still very like that ownership obsessive gaze, and it's just not my favorite thing to. It's very unsettling, so if you wanted it to be very unsettling, which they do obviously, so tick on that mark, but I didn't enjoy it. I didn't have a good time reading it. Whereas often a lot of the other unsettling ones I was like, oh yeah, and had a good time reading them. But the Poe stories, I'm coming to learn as a person who's never read Poe before ever, but just knew about like key themes like the Raven and stuff. Like I knew about stuff, but not like I hadn't ever read any of them. I don't like them, just in general, and I think it's really an accessibility issue. I think Poe was writing in an era that uses a lot of wordy shit for no reason. The only one that I've absolutely loved, which not even loved, I was just absolutely so disconcerted by, that it definitely like scared me, was The Pit and the Pendulum. The others, I don't get the impact of the scare factor. Like I don't get the horror of it. It all doesn't hit the right beats for me. Or I just have a hard time understanding what's going on. Like I'm very glad I'm reading the modern stories first, because they at least give me a baseline of like what I'm trying to get from the original, which I feel like if I wasn't doing that I'd be so lost. They're just very wordy for no reason. No reason. So The Pit and the Pendulum so far is one of my favourite Poe stories, but would not be my favourite of the so far of the redone ones. Let's see if is there a dance list. Yeah, I really liked It's Carnival, which is Tiffany D. Jackson's story. A Drop of Stolen Ink was good. The Glittering Death was good. Actually, so many of the remakes have been really good. Lygia is probably the first of the ones that I was like, Red was also Changeling, I liked the Overall Filter. I liked the Raven Remix. Happy Days, what was Happy Days Sweetheart? Oh, I loved Happy Days Sweetheart. That was so good. I forgot what it was called. And I loved A Drop of Stolen Ink. Is the Glittering Death the one I'm thinking of? Oh, yeah. I liked the Glittering Death. I liked Night Tide. I liked It's Carnival. So overall, I'm really enjoying them. But yeah, the Poe ones, man. I'm just... If I had been reading just Poe, like a collection of Poe, I would have been like, no. So dull. So dull. Most of them don't hit scare factor for me. I don't feel creeped out because it's too wordy. Like, I'm too caught up in these descriptions and I'm like there trying to figure out what we're even describing anymore, and I just... Anyway, I'm gonna finish this like Logea Poe story, and then I'm gonna shower and go to work. But that's the plan. Hi, I'm doing it again. Got back from work, picked up a smoothie on the way home. It's not my normal flavour. Normally I get banana macadamia. This is mixed berry with banana and dates. So it's got a vague banana undertone. But I don't mind it. Like normally I'm like, banana. But I was really was like, let's try something different today. And this is what I went with. I prefer the banana, but it's not bad. These are from Bean Squeeze, by the way, which is like local to me. So can't recommend you them unless you're a Geelong local. And then I'm just watching some Bon Appetit Test Kitchen. And then once this video is over, I'm going to start in on House of Salt and Sorrows. Yes! So I procrastinated the fuck out of reading and instead made a TBR jar cut. I made one of these yesterday. I made the other one today. So this particular one is 2019 releases. The other one was 2019 backlist purchases. And they're color coded using, like, I made them on construction paper, like patterned construction paper, and they're kind of coded by vague genre. I literally only have like contemporary, which included magical realism, adult fantasy, young adult fantasy, and sci-fi. So that's kind of the breakdown. So yeah, I now have 2 of these, and my plan is next year I'm gonna have a stack of, there's 10 things that I definitely want to read next year. So each month I'll pick one of those depending on my mood. There's just a list of 10. And then I'm going to draw 2 things from this jar and 2 things from the other jar. And I have to read at least one of them. Yeah, that's the plan. And then one from my, like, been on my shelf forever TBR. But again, I'll just mood pick that, because if I pick them too far in advance, I get like intimidated by them and then I end up putting them off and I don't read them. So I need to kind of like go, okay, this week I'm going to pick up one of those from there. Which one do I feel like? So we'll see how we go. But we're going to try these TBR jars with like picking 2 but only having to read 1. Zooming in again. So I'm about to go to sleep. It is 10:34. What did we do this afternoon since I talked to you last? Who even knows? I finished the section of House of Salt and Sorrows. Still really enjoying that. I'm waiting for more people to die. Please and thank. And then I started reading the next section of Ninth House. I did read a little bit of Harry Potter. Went to yoga. I finished the section of Ninth House when I got home. April and I were exploring the Facebook like filter options and having a fun time. So I wasn't like hardcore reading as much as I should have tonight. But I did finish this section of Ninth House. And I'm still loving it. And it's still a 5 stars. And we're over halfway now. I'm just having a good time. It's so fascinating. Like, 10 out of 10. It is great. And then I started a section of the Bone Houses. But I'm not going to finish it because I'm sleepy. So, that's just how life be sometimes. We're gonna go to bed instead of pushing through and staying up. But I'll finish that in the morning before I go to work probably. So yeah. And that's what's happening. I'm gonna sleep. This is so uninteresting. Like, why are you even here? I don't know. Good night. I don't think I've updated you at all today. Though I did get half a second's footage on my phone of April and I on another reading date. What have I done today? What have I read? I've read the end of the section of Bone Houses that I started last night before I fell asleep. Yep, so we've got like 3 sections left of that. Yep. And then I read a section of House of Salt and Sorrows, and things are really picking up. It's getting creepy. So I'm really enjoying that, having a good time. I actually ended up, because it's now like, what, 2:18. I didn't even end up going to work today because there were no car parks, so I turned around and came back home because I didn't have anything planned to do anyway. I ended up DNFing a story in His Hideous Heart. It was The Fall of the Bank of Usher by Fran Wilde, and I DNF'd it kind of for a couple of reasons. It's super long. I didn't understand the characters, and the writing style was incredibly confusing. It would say stuff that just I didn't understand. Like, I couldn't comprehend what was going on, and I just was really not enjoying it. So April enabled me, and we're skipping it. So I'm also gonna skip It's Like when it's based off of, because I just can't be bothered. I wasn't enjoying it. I don't think I'm gonna enjoy the actual story. So I'm now up to the final story in His Hideous Heart, which is The Murders in the Rue Apatel Boracay, which is by Rinch Paco. I'm gonna read that, and then its original story is insanely long. So I'm gonna see if I enjoy it heaps, and if I absolutely love it, I'll go read that. Otherwise, I'm tempted to just skip it. It's an anthology. I make my own rules. Yeah, cool. At the moment, though, I'm going to come back to that. I did just finish my audiobook, which was Neverworld Week by Marisha Pessel, and I enjoyed it. I don't think it was amazing, but it was a really cool concept, and I thought it was really interestingly executed. I just think everything kind of was slow to kick off, and then all came together really quickly at the end. So I think it just had a few pacing issues for me. But overall, I enjoyed it a lot. I think I would give it like a 3.5 stars. Sorry, there was a hair. 3.5 stars I think would make sense for it for me. So, yeah, that's what we're going with. I'm now working on 9th House again. And then once I finish this section of 9th House, I'll go read that final story in His Hideous Heart. Yeah. So I finished my section of 9th House. The action, did ramp up. I'm now on page 325. There's like 450 pages in this. The action got a bit hot and heavy there. We had a lot of reveals, but also a lot of new mysteries. I'm loving this so much. It is so good. So good. Chef's kiss good. Anyway. Alright, Trixie. Now I'm going to go read the final new story in His Hideous Heart by Rinch Paco, and then I'll decide at the end of that whether I want to read the story it's based on. But at the moment I'm like, it's really long, and I'm not enjoying any of the Poe stories really, so I'm really tempted to just skip it. At which point this will be done. Yeah, with only one DNF of an actual like original piece, which is nice. But anyway, I'm gonna go read that now. Okay, I finished Rinch Paco's story and I loved it. This is so shiny, I'm sorry. The Filipino rep and the way the, I guess, Creole did you say was used? Like the Tagalog Creole. And slang and things were woven into the story. It was really good. Features a trans character, fun, which I thought was handled like, it was just in there, like cool, great. Yeah, I still didn't think I would be bothered reading the original Poe story just because of my history with all the other Poe stories. Like they definitely dragged, and it's like 40 pages long, not 20 pages, 40 pages. I just don't think I have the emotional energy to read 40 pages, even though I probably wouldn't mind the plot. I just can't be bothered with 40 pages at all. I'll go through the 13 stories in this collection and tell you what I think. So there's She Rode a Horse of Fire by Kendra Blake. If I was to give it a star rating, I'd say 3 stars. It's fine, but I didn't really feel any connection to it. Didn't love it. It's Carnival by Tiffany D. Jackson. 5 stars. Fabulous. So sassy. Night Tide by Tessa Gratton. Really good. 4.5 stars. The Glittering Death by Caleb Roerig was... which one was that? I said this the other day. Oh yeah, it was really good. I really liked that one. That was like a 4.5. A Drop of Stolen Ink. 5 stars. Happy Days Sweetheart. 4 stars. I really liked it. The Raven Remix by Amanda Loveless is fine, but like not super my thing. Like 3.5 stars. Changeling by Marie Nijkamp. 3.5 stars. I just didn't resonate with it as much. The Oval Filter by Lamar Giles. Like 4 stars. Red by Hilary Monahan. 3 stars. I just didn't think it delivered as well. Legia by Dahlia Adler. 3 stars. Again, didn't resonate well with me. The Fall of the Bank of Usher. 1.5, 2 stars. I didn't even read very far. I just didn't like the writing style at all, and I was really struggling with it. And then The Murders in the Rue Patel Boracay, like 4.5 stars. It was really good. So overall, I think this is like a 4-star anthology, and there's some really, really good stories in here, and I would recommend it. It was really good. So there's that done. So I'm halfway in a section, but I want to check in on things I like about the Barton houses. It's Welsh. I'm pretty sure Emily Lloyd-Jones is Welsh or lives in Wales, because I know the main character in Elusive is also Welsh. Well, all of her things says American, that she grew up in Oregon, but maybe has Welsh family, because yeah, the main character in Elusive is Welsh or Irish. I think she's Welsh. This is very Welsh. And not only that, there's a general like non-attitude toward queers. Who says queers? Like they casually talk about like being interested in the same sex, fine. The other thing that I'm really liking that's really coming up now as a plot point more later, but is kind of present from the start, is disability representation. One of the main characters has chronic pain and like weakness and an injury in his shoulder that he, I guess you could kind of say has an addiction, but I don't think it's really an addiction, but he's kind of dependent on like willow, which is like painkillers. Willow barks are like traditional, it's where they make paracetamol, comes from willow bark, I'm pretty sure. Maybe aspirin? Pretty sure you can use willow bark to make aspirin. Yes, so it's a precursor to aspirin, is in willow bark. So he basically doses himself up to keep this chronic pain at bay in his shoulder, and the way that ties into the story, and is also like just really normalized. No, like not normalized, he really feels a lot of struggles with it, but like disability rep is a thing that's few and far between in books, and is often, when it is the focus, it's like, or when it is in books, it's often the main focus. Whereas this is just a part of him that they have to deal with and forms part of his identity, but isn't like the central plot or anything, which I really like. I'm like halfway between a section, but I have to go to the supermarket, so I just wanted to, yeah, like check in and tell you that, because I don't know how much people are talking about the representation in this. It's Welsh, just Welsh, and has not necessarily queer representation, but is queer friendly, and disability rep is where I feel like we're at, and I'm really enjoying it. It's a good time. Great disability rep. We just said, she says, you could have told me before, and he says, to tell people is to invite pity, or worse, advice. Advice? Herbs to try, stretches, leeches one time. People cannot simply let me be. They have to find a way to fix me. And she says, you're not broken. And he says, I know, but it's difficult to convince the world of that most of the time. That's why I've enjoyed solitude. People think pain makes me weak, or worse, strong. If I have to endure one more person telling me that I'm so strong simply for living. Yeah. And then she says, pain doesn't make a person weak or strong. Pain just is. It's not a purifier, it's part of living.
They both have the same feelings. And I'm like, but why?
Maybe.
For why? For what?
Hi. It's work time. I'm gonna go to work. By work time, I mean it's actually like 10:35. And I don't really know what I'm going to do at work today, so I'm going in because there's a seminar over lunch that I compulsorily have to attend. So I'm going in to try and find something to do to then do that. But right now, my camera needs charging. So I'm going to pop it on the charger. I did finish the section of bone houses. Last night there were some really cute lines. I wish I annotated because I would have highlighted it, but I don't annotate because I don't normally find things to highlight. But I'm going to take House of Salt and Sorrows in with me. Yes. Ooh. I'm back from work. I didn't stay super long, and I did like no work while I was there because I couldn't find anything to do. I don't know what my not even a bun is doing. I'm about to get some lunch, but I did receive a package. And this is actually way more beautiful in person than it looked online, and that is the Grace Year by Kim Liggett. It's kind of velvety, and you can really see this like blood motif. And then the end papers, or underneath actually, it's all this navy color, but these are the end papers. This is the front. Let's get you out of the light. It's just really pretty. It's blurbed. I thought it was adult, but it's blurbed by mostly young adult and middle grade authors, so we're gonna roll with that. And it's really young adult priced, I guess. So it's blurbed by Libba Bray, Jasmine Warger, Kelly Link, Saba Tahir, Samira Ahmed, and Melissa Albert. So I'm thinking this is YA, even though it was kind of like marketed as adult. Maybe it's like right on the borderline. I don't know, like thematically I could see it being adult, but I was just surprised it was blurbed by so many young adult authors and middle grade authors. Yes. I'm going to, I've been listening to really only like the first little bit, but I've started listening to the Disturbed Girls Dictionary by Nonika Ramos, which is my next audiobook, and I'm enjoying it. It's good. It's weird, but good. I'm about to look at it physically just because there's some like formatting stuff I want to see in my head, how it's done in the physical book, but I'm going to keep listening to the audiobook. Right now I'm going to have some lunch and keep working on House of Salt and Sorrows, which I like low-key started at work. So I kind of totally forgot to update you last night. Lots happened yesterday. So after I showed you last, I think April and I ended up on FaceTime for a while reading, like all afternoon, and I did get through another section of every book, so I have one section of everything left, and then I read a bit of Harry Potter, and the Goblet of Fire in the illustrated edition, and then we went out. The family went out for dinner. We were originally going to the ramen place, but it was packed. So then we changed our mind and went to a pizza place, where one of my friends works, and had delicious, delicious pizza. And the bar next door was serving caramel which is like Australian chocolate. It's like white chocolate caramel, so like baked white chocolate. And they had that in a beer. I'm not a beer drinker, so we only got like 1 pint that Jesse drank most of. But we went in there, and normally that bar, because it's like a brewery bar, is normally super hipster, because it's sort of like, we drink craft beers kind of guys. The Caramilk brought out the bogans. There were so many rough, super masculine straight guys. And we just, it was weird, so we drank our beer real quick and went home, and then we watched Drag Race, and then I went to bed on Drag Race UK. So I've like, I didn't finish anything last night, but I did get to the final section of everything. So this morning we are going to help Jesse's mum take their dog to the vet, because she's a big dog and doesn't like the car. So we need all hands on deck to help get her to the vet. And so I've gotten up a little bit early, not really that early, to work on a bit of House of Salt and Sorrows before we have to go do that. Because I think it's going to be a busy day, but I'm still determined to like finish everything today. Well, I'm going to go make myself some breakfast, but I just finished House of Salt and Sorrows. I think if I was to settle on a star rating, which I have not really been doing lately, I think I would give this a 3 stars. It was good, fine. I do think the ending was a bit convenient. There were certain reveals that were super convenient. I was just like, why? I didn't really care about the romance at all. I wasn't there for it. In fact, most of the time I was like, bitch, this is fake. But the atmosphere and the horror elements I thought were pretty well done, except maybe the pace could have been a bit higher from the start. It kind of had these little moments of really dark horror bits, and then it would go back to kind of lighter plodding along, and then you'd have another little dark bit and then plod along for a bit more. I think the pace building could have maybe been a little bit more consistent, but like, it was pretty good. Other than like a slightly convenient ending, I mean a lot convenient ending, but and a romance I wasn't really there for. But that didn't bother me that much reading it. I was just like, I liked this. I especially liked that we had these 12 siblings, because it's 12 Dancing Princesses retelling, and there's 8 alive at the start, so it's like not a spoiler, but all of those 8 I felt like were distinctly characterized, or pretty well characterized. I didn't have trouble telling them apart. I remembered all their names, so like, yeah, that's pretty impressive for such a big cast. And like, the sisters aren't the only characters, so I was pretty impressed with that. Yeah. Alright, I'm gonna go make some toast, and then we'll work on 9th house a bit later. Okay, so I just finished, that's really loud, sorry. Just finished ninth house. It is evening now. We did have quite a busy day and I will try and remember to have inserted some B-roll, so you probably saw that. But I just finished this and it was so good. Instant 5 stars. Can't wait for the next one. I don't even know how to talk about it, but I feel like everyone who hasn't enjoyed it are people who don't enjoy the genre, is my take, because it's like an epitome great example of the genre. I think it would be a very rare person who enjoys grimdark urban fantasy, like grimdark and or adult urban fantasy, that wouldn't love this. I'd recommend this for fans of An Unkindness of Magicians, Magic for Liars, The Rook, like the Daniel O'Malley The Rook. Like, it's so good, would recommend. But I can understand if you don't like the genre, don't read it. But I feel like that's a common problem this is going to have. The people who are young adult fantasy readers are going to be like, oh, it's Lebo Duga, I'll pick it up. But no, it's like, be prepared for what you're going in for. It's a specific genre that you either will like or not. But I finished that now. So that's my second book down for the day, and I just have to finish the Bone Houses, which I'm definitely doing tonight. And then I can start 3 new things. Okay, so I just finished the Bone Houses. And it was so good. I think it's like a 4.5 stars. Let's give it a star rating. It's like very good. I don't think it's quite pristine perfect, but it was a really good time. I think for a fantasy standalone, it had a really good arc. I didn't really see the ending coming, but it made a lot of sense once it got there, so it doesn't seem to like come out of nowhere. I don't think the romance was strictly necessary, but it also wasn't like hit you in the face cheesy meh. It was just kind of like, oh, a nice hint of romance. If you enjoy that, great. But I don't think it was necessary for the plot. It was just kind of there. And sweet. Yeah, I think it has some good representation. It's just so good. I would love to see more in this world, because I think it would be fascinating. This like Welsh mythology is real kind of world. It's great. So 3 books I'm going to be starting. I don't know if I'm going to start tonight. I might read a bit of Harry Potter tonight instead of starting these. But the next 3 books I'm going to be reading are Tunnel of Bones by Victoria Schwab, which is the sequel to City of Ghosts, which should go by super fast because it's middle grade. And there's only like, I divided it up into 7 sections already, and there's only like 40-ish pages per section. So it should fly by, and they're like huge text. We also have, this is a Treason of Thorns by Laurie Weymouth, which is about a magical house. So excited. And Caster by Elsie Chapman, which is a witchy Asian inspired urban fantasy, I believe. So I'll tell you more about the actual plot as I get into it. So I don't really know much. I know there's a girl and her sister gets caught up. I think it's got a lot of gangland kind of stuff. I'm really excited. Yeah, they're all not super long either. So I can't imagine they're going to take me a huge amount of time. But I do go away next week, so we're going to have a weirdly timed vlog, I think. But it's just going to go up really late. Yeah, they're all just over 3 or around 300 pages. The 2 hardbacks are just over 300, and then Tunnel of Bones is just under 300. But yeah, so that's the plan for now. And then right now, yeah, I think I might read a chapter or 2 of Harry Potter and chill out. It's only 9:19, so I'm gonna have some spare time to read Harry Potter before going to bed. And then yeah, I might start all these tomorrow and try to read like 2 sections of each tomorrow. Achievable? Maybe. They're watching Kevin giving me in the room, but I just finished the first section of A Tunnel of Bones. So this follows Cassidy. It's the sequel to City of Ghosts. We follow Cassidy, who is able to see ghosts, and her parents are like TV famous ghost hunters. And so she gets dragged around the world to all these different places to meet ghosts while they're filming their TV show, and things go down. So this book, they're in Paris and exploring the Paris catacombs, and I'm really excited and I'm enjoying it so far. It's super fast, middle grade, easy. And I'm about to start the first section of A Treason of Thorns by Laura E. Weymouth. I've heard this is like super lyrical writing, so I'm super excited. It is Sunday morning, by the way. It's almost lunchtime, like almost midday. I do have to go shower things before work this afternoon. I start at 4:30. But yep. I really need to get to reading. I've washed my hair, as you can see, because it's super wet. It's gotta air dry. Yes. I had lunch. Positives. And I've read like a chapter of Trees and Thorns. I gotta keep reading. I also need to change my sheets at some point, but I might do that tomorrow. Because I have work tonight, so I'm not sleeping in it anyway. But I've ate one too many pieces of toast on this spread, on this bedspread, because it is got a lot of crumbs. But I'm going to eat some strawberry crisps that I got today on April's recommendation, and work on this for the next couple of hours. Work on reading for the next couple of hours. I'm also like, my brain is zapping with with writing ideas, but like, no, we don't have time to get distracted for 3 weeks. No. Okay, I thought I'd just come chat about A Treason of Thorns 5 seconds. I did not realize this was like historical fantasy. I thought it was modern day. Don't know why I thought that. But this is like, it's set in an alternative England, and basically different parts of the country are controlled, I guess, by these great houses, and they're magic houses, like literal houses, not like families. And these houses have magic that kind of has to be funneled. Otherwise, excess magic can be negative to the land, and you've got to funnel it and use it in good ways. Like channel it into good things. And caretakers have a special key that means the magic of the house doesn't affect them negatively. The magic is kind of poisonous. And those caretakers, their whole priority is the house. Looking after the house, making sure it's doing good, it's got the house's best interest in heart. And then the King of England owns all the houses. He's like the deed holder, so he kind of controls their magic and how it's to be used for the land. But the caretakers are there to make sure the houses work properly and are like the benefit of the house. It's kind of an interesting system. But so it's got kings and court politics that are, I wouldn't say Victorian. I'm not very good with my English history groups. The king's name is Edgar. But there's a lot of maybe Edwardian, Victorian, Georgian. I don't really know the differences between the eras. Like, I couldn't place it directly. But it's definitely not modern, which is not what I was expecting. But I'm enjoying it. It's very interesting. Okay, so I have to leave for work in like 15 minutes. I just finished the first section of Caster. I'm really liking it. So this is basically a maybe Hong Kong inspired, I would say, fantasy world. It's called Lotus Land, but it's kind of like contemporary urban fantasy. Everyone there's like low magic and full magic. I think it's like leftover magic and full magic. Most people have like leftover magic, and they have little like bags that they carry on their hip, I guess, or like a belt that has different herbs and things that are like magic starters that they can use to perform little bits of magic. Then if you're full magic, you have the power to do like strong magic, and you inscribe these pentacles, like these stars, and you can see they're all different amounts of points. You can kind of see there. You inscribe a pointed star on your palm, and you can perform like more complicated magic, but it takes something out of you, like causes you pain and causes pain to the earth. So they're kind of outlawed because it's kind of causing like global warming and like problems to the land. And our main character, Aza, has full magic, and her sister had full magic and has died, but Aza doesn't quite know how to control her magic yet. She's still kind of learning, but everything's got to be under the radar. And then we're also dealing with like gang territory dynamics, which is the kind of like Hong Kong vibe of like different territories being owned by different gangs, and they've got to pay a tithe to the gangs. And her sister was the moneymaker for their family, doing magic to make like black market money that was paying their tithe. And now that she's dead, they don't have enough money to pay. So Aza's trying to learn quickly to make money to pay their tithe. It's basically the premise. Really, this first section was just the introductory stuff, but a big thing happened right at the end of the section, and I'm really excited to see where it goes in the next section. So I'm gonna watch a YouTube video before I head to work, but I'm gonna take all 3 books with me and try and get through another section of each of them today. I'm not sure if it's fully achievable, but that's all we're gonna try and do. Okay, it's officially Monday morning, but I'm gonna wrap up the vlog now because I didn't take my camera to work last night. I read a second section in Tunnel of Bones, and then literally like a half a page of A Treason of Thorns, but my brain last night was so weird. Like, I just had a hard time focusing on anything. I was all zappy and all over the place. I kept jumping. Like, I downloaded dumb game apps on my phone to try and like calm my brain from zapping between things. So I don't know what was going on, but one of those days where I was just having a really hard time focusing, especially in the afternoon. So I just gave up. This week's been a pretty successful week. I reckon we finished 4 really good books. Some audiobooks. I think it was a good time. And I'll see you next week with the next Sims-A-Thon vlog. Sims-A-Thon, spooky month, all good things. And I'm just gonna leave it here because I don't have anything else to add, and I have my homework coming soon. We're just gonna move on with things. I'll see you next vlog. Bye.